Did you know there was a time when Hollywood's biggest stars broke every rule on screen, and nobody could stop them? From fearless heroines to unthinkable betrayals, this countdown is your ticket to the most outrageous stories ever filmed in the Golden Age. And trust us, number one on this list will absolutely shock you. So, are you ready to see just how daring Hollywood once was? Let's dive into the top 10 pre-code Hollywood films that would have been banned today. Number 10. Tarzan and His Mate, 1934. At number 10, we swing into the jungle with Tarzan and His Mate, a film that truly pushed the boundaries of what could be shown in the early 1930s. This wasn't just another adventure flick. It was a bold, untamed story set in the wild, where the rules of civilization faded and primal instincts took over. Johnny Weissmuller returns as Tarzan, the king of the jungle, while Maureen O'Sullivan stars as Jane, his fearless companion. What made this film so shocking wasn't just the lush scenery or the thrilling action sequences, though it has both in spades. It's the intense connection between Tarzan and Jane, their almost wordless understanding, and their decision to live far from the prying eyes of society. The film caused an uproar for its daring swim scene, which suggested a level of freedom and closeness rarely depicted on screen. The studio pushed the envelope, hinting at a partnership between equals who have cast off the constraints of society. Jane is no shrinking violet. She's brave, witty, and as adventurous as Tarzan himself. But it wasn't all romance and river rides. Tarzan and His Mate features one of the most intense action climaxes of the era, with ivory hunters invading the jungle and facing Tarzan's wrath. The violence is unflinching. The jungle danger's real, and the message clear. The wild cannot be tamed, and those who try may pay the price. Censors of the time were shocked, and even today the film feels bracingly bold, a true relic of Hollywood's most untamed years. Number 9. The Black Cat, 1934. Coming in at number 9 is a film that stands as a monument to gothic horror and psychological unease, The Black Cat. Loosely inspired by Edgar Allan Poe's chilling story, this film pairs the great Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi in a battle of minds and wills, surrounded by an atmosphere so thick with dread, you can practically cut it with a knife. The Black Cat isn't just another haunted house picture. It's a macabre symphony of modern architecture, psychological torment, and mysterious rituals. The set design alone is enough to make your skin crawl. Ultra-modern, cold, and filled with hidden threats. Karloff plays the enigmatic and sinister architect, presiding over his ominous mansion with the air of a man who knows far too many dark secrets. Lugosi, meanwhile, gives a masterclass in slow-burning revenge, his haunted eyes revealing a world of pain and determination. What shocked audiences and censors alike were the film's hints at forbidden practices and its willingness to dwell in the darkest corners of human behavior. No supernatural monster here, just the monstrous capabilities of people themselves. There are moments of chilling suspense, uneasy alliances, and a climactic showdown that goes to places few films of the era would dare. The Black Cat is a testament to how horror can unsettle not just with ghosts or ghouls, but with the twisted minds of its characters. Even nearly a century later, it stands as a masterpiece of atmospheric terror. Number 8. Night Nurse, 1931. Number 8 plunges us into the shadows of a city hospital, where danger lurks in the most unexpected places. Night Nurse stars Barbara Stanwyck in a role that cemented her reputation as one of the boldest actresses of her generation. She plays Laura Hart, a spirited young nurse who quickly discovers that her new job is anything but routine. From the moment Laura steps into the hospital's bustling, chaotic world, she's confronted with mysteries and moral dilemmas. She's assigned to care for 2 sick children in a wealthy household, but it soon becomes clear that something is terribly wrong. There are sinister figures moving in the shadows, and the household's trusted chauffeur, played with chilling menace by Clark Gable, seems to have his own deadly agenda. What set Night Nurse apart from other medical dramas of the time was its unflinching look at corruption, abuse, and the dark side of power. Laura doesn't just face illness and injury, she must navigate threats, protect the vulnerable, and confront evil head-on. The film tackles issues of class, privilege, and the price of doing what's right in a world stacked against you. Stanwyck's performance is electrifying, tough, compassionate, and utterly convincing as a woman who refuses to be intimidated. The tension builds to a nerve-wracking climax, and the film's raw honesty left audiences stunned. Night Nurse showed that heroism isn't always about big gestures. Sometimes, it's about standing up to everyday cruelty, no matter the personal cost. Number 7. She Done Him Wrong, 1933. Sliding in at number 7 is the legendary Mae West's finest hour, She Done Him Wrong. If you've ever heard the phrase, "Why don't you come up sometime and see me?" This is where it all began. Mae West wrote the play, starred in the movie, and basically rewrote the rules for what a leading lady could do and say. Set in New York's Bowery District, West's character, Lady Lou, is a sharp-tongued, quick-witted nightclub singer who's seen it all and isn't afraid to say what's on her mind. She's surrounded by a swirling cast of characters, criminals, lawmen, admirers, and rivals. Through it all, Lady Lou stays a step ahead, using her brains and her charisma to manipulate the action. What made this film so daring, then and now, was its portrayal of a woman completely in control of her own life. Lady Lou doesn't wait for anyone to rescue her. She deals with trouble in her own way, making decisions that benefit herself and those she cares about. The film is loaded with double meanings and clever wordplay, much of it courtesy of West's razor-sharp writing. Censors bristled at the movie's boldness, but audiences couldn't get enough. She Done Him Wrong became a massive hit and cemented West's legacy as a pioneer for strong, independent women in cinema. Even today, her quick wit and fearless presence feel refreshingly modern. Number 6. Island of Lost Souls, 1932. At number 6, we head to a remote island shrouded in mist and menace, where science has gone dangerously off the rails. Island of Lost Souls, adapted from H.G. Wells' The Island of Dr. Moreau, is a fever dream of a movie that shocked the world with its depiction of experiments gone horribly wrong. The story follows Edward Parker, a shipwreck survivor who stumbles upon an island ruled by the mysterious doctor, Moreau. Here, Moreau is engaged in twisted experiments, transforming animals into human-like beings through a process that challenges the very boundaries of nature. These creatures, known as the Beast Folk, are caught between two worlds, loyal to Moreau but desperate for freedom. The film's atmosphere is thick with dread and moral uncertainty. The Beast Folk live under a strict code of rules, enforced by the threat of pain and punishment. The real horror comes not from monsters, but from Moreau's total disregard for the suffering of his creations. The film asks haunting questions about what it means to be human, and the dangers of unchecked ambition. The makeup effects were groundbreaking for their time, and the film's disturbing tone led to it being banned in several countries. Island of Lost Souls remains one of the most provocative science fiction films ever made, a cautionary tale about hubris and the dark side of progress. Number 5. The Story of Temple Drake, 1933. In the middle of our list is a film that redefined what Hollywood could put on screen, The Story of Temple Drake. Based on William Faulkner's controversial novel Sanctuary, the movie stars Miriam Hopkins as Temple, a privileged Southern belle who finds herself ensnared in a web of crime, danger, and moral ambiguity. Temple's journey takes her from the comfort of her well-to-do upbringing to the heart of the criminal underworld, where she must navigate threats and betrayal at every turn. The film doesn't shy away from the darkness she encounters, but it also gives her depth and agency, allowing her to fight for survival and make difficult choices. What made The Story of Temple Drake so groundbreaking and shocking was its refusal to sugarcoat the dangers facing its heroine. Audiences were stunned by the intensity of Temple's ordeal, and the film's honest portrayal of a world where justice and safety are far from guaranteed. Censors were alarmed by its content, and the film was used as an example of why stricter regulations were needed in Hollywood. But for modern viewers, it's a powerful story about resilience, courage, and the fight to reclaim one's life in the face of adversity. Hopkins' performance is unforgettable, and the film stands as a milestone in Hollywood history. Number 4. Scarface, 1932. Coming in at number 4 is the gangster film that set the template for all others, Scarface. Directed by Howard Hawks and produced by Howard Hughes, this movie pulls no punches in its portrayal of organized crime, ambition, and the corrosive effects of unchecked power. Paul Mooney stars as Tony Camonte, a ruthless mobster determined to climb to the top of the underworld, no matter who gets in his way. The film follows his meteoric rise and violent fall, painting a portrait of a man consumed by greed and a lust for control. Along the way, Tony's reckless actions endanger not just his rivals, but his own family and allies. What made Scarface so notorious was its frank depiction of violence and the inner workings of crime syndicates. The film doesn't glamorize Tony's actions. Instead, it presents his life as a cautionary tale, showing the personal and social destruction left in his wake. The scenes of urban warfare, betrayal, and personal downfall are as powerful now as they were then. Censors demanded changes and delayed the film's release, but audiences flocked to see its raw energy and compelling storytelling. Scarface became a touchstone for the gangster genre and influenced countless films that followed. Its legacy endures as a thrilling, hard-hitting drama that dared to reveal the underbelly of American life. Number 3. Freaks, 1932. Landing at number 3 is perhaps the most infamous film on our list. Freaks. Directed by Todd Browning, this film is unlike anything else produced in Hollywood before or since. Set in the world of a traveling circus, it features real-life performers with extraordinary physical conditions, giving the film an authenticity and empathy rarely seen. The plot centers on a group of sideshow entertainers who are fiercely loyal to each other and wary of outsiders. When a scheming trapeze artist plots to betray one of their own for personal gain, the freaks band together to exact justice in ways both shocking and unforgettable. Freaks caused a sensation upon release, with audiences reacting in horror and fascination. Many theaters refused to show it, and it was banned in several countries for decades. But beyond its surface-level shock value, the film is ultimately a story about loyalty, dignity, and the line between kindness and cruelty. The movie's final act is a masterclass in suspense and poetic justice, as the so-called outcasts reveal their inner strength and unity. Freaks remains a deeply human film, ahead of its time in its treatment of difference and belonging. Today, it's regarded as a cult classic, a film that pushed boundaries and demanded that audiences look beyond appearances. Number 2. Babyface, 1933. Our runner-up is a film that shocked even the most jaded filmgoers of its day. Babyface. Starring Barbara Stanwyck in one of her most celebrated roles, the film tells the story of Lily Powers, a young woman determined to escape her bleak circumstances and rise to the top, no matter what it takes. From the outset, it's clear Lily has had a tough start in life. She's determined, resourceful, and completely unwilling to accept the limitations society tries to impose on her. Using her wits, charm, and determination, she quickly climbs the ranks at a powerful New York bank, leaving a trail of astonished and sometimes ruined men in her wake. What made Babyface so startling was its unvarnished look at ambition and the lengths people will go to change their lives. The film doesn't pass judgment on Lily. Instead, it presents her as a complex, driven character who seizes every opportunity. Audiences had rarely seen a female character with so much agency and confidence, and the censors took notice. The studio was forced to cut and alter scenes before release, but even the softened version left a powerful impression. Babyface is a testament to Stanwyck's star power and the daring spirit of pre-code Hollywood, a film that remains bracingly modern in its themes and its execution. Number 1. Red-Headed Woman, 1932. Topping our list at number 1 is the ultimate pre-code firecracker, Red-Headed Woman. Starring Jean Harlow in her most iconic role, this film blew the doors off Hollywood's conventions with its sharp humor, irrepressible spirit, and fearless leading lady. Harlow plays Lil Andrews, a secretary with a plan, to use her charm, brains, and unshakable confidence to get everything she wants. Whether it's a promotion, a relationship with the boss, or a seat at the table among the city's elite, Lil goes after her goals with unstoppable energy. She's witty, clever, and completely unapologetic about breaking the rules society sets for women. What made Red-Headed Woman such a sensation was its refusal to punish Lil for her ambition. In an era when bad girls were supposed to get their comeuppance, Lil wins. and does so with a wink and a smile. The film's sparkling script, fast pace, and sly commentary on gender and power turned it into an instant classic. Censors were outraged by the film's irreverence, and studios quickly realized they had gone further than the public and the authorities were ready for. Yet Harlow's magnetic performance and the film's boldness made it a defining moment in cinema history. Red-Headed Woman remains a shining example of what happens when filmmakers are given the freedom to tell stories their way, sometimes outrageous, always unforgettable, and forever groundbreaking. And there you have it, our countdown of the top 10 pre-code Hollywood films that would have been banned today. They challenged the norms, shocked the authorities, and paved the way for everything that came after. So next time you watch a classic, remember, behind every old movie is a history of rebellion, invention, and boundary-pushing brilliance. Thanks for joining us on this journey through cinema's wildest decade. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dives into movie history's most unforgettable moments.